let's begin. So, my name is Jaja, and I'm here to teach you about tarot. Tarot basics, that's what this Tarot Tuesday is all about. I want people to be able to read their own cards or to go to their tarot reader and not just be told what the cards are saying, but to also understand where they're coming from. So, specifically, today we're going to work on numerology in the cards. So, on every single card, except for the court cards, there are numbers on the card. And these numbers can be kind of like, not like a shortcut, but they're like definitely, they give a lot of clues into what's going on. Herbie's watching too. Hi, Herbie. Herbie's my dog. So yeah, I already separated the cards into the pip cards versus all the others. So let me just grab those. Where does it end? Where does it end? There's the end. Okay, so these are all of our pip cards. Pip cards are cards that are ruled by the symbols that we talked about last week. So pentacles, cups, swords, wands, and a number is assigned to it as well. So Ace of Cups, so 1 of Cups. Example. But before we get into the specific cards themselves, I want to talk about just numerology in general. So I do have my little whiteboard again this week. Oh, I forgot. It's mirrored. Mirror image. Okay, well, you guys are going to have to just bear with me. So if we look at the numbers, just to make it easier for you guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My handwriting looks really bad. Mirrored. 6, 7. I erased some of the stuff by accident when I was bringing it outside. 6, 7. There we go. There's a 7. 7, 8, 9, and then there's the 10 right here. So those are the numbers we're working with. We don't really go past 10. I could get into that in a different video, but so 1 through 10, those are kind of like a story. So 1 is the beginning, 9 is the end, and 10 is that point where it's that silence, that end, that reflection point where you're like, okay, it's time for a new adventure. And 5 and 6 are kind of like the peak points in between 1 and 9, so it's kind of like, woo, that's why I drew that little hill. Woo. Yeah, and I also drew out an Ouroboros and the Om symbol. Some people see it as OM or AUM, Om, like when we meditate. And these symbols really help us understand what I'm talking about, like that cycle, that story. And you might notice I talk about cycles all the dang time, and it's because they're really important into witchcraft and tarot. So the Ouroboros, it is a snake eating its own tail, and it represents the beginning of life. You know, this is the head of the snake. It's eating its tail, so it's eating some food to give it life. And then there's that middle part of life, and then there's the end. The end is like death. And then somewhere in between here is kind of that weird middle ground of like, where is this? Is this the end? Is this the beginning? What's happening? And another good way to see that is, let me draw some arrows. Here we go. So in Om, now why I say AUM, once again, sorry that it's backwards. AUM is actually how you chant Om. So you don't go Om like it's one word. You start with Om, and then you have some silence. So this is exactly, I love using Om because it's exactly like the story of the numbers. So A is the beginning, and A is represented by this part right here, a little arrow. That is the beginning. This is the middle. Right here. this little line. This is the end, right here, this line. So that's A-U-M. Right here, this line is, it represents infinity. And then this right here is this little dot. That is the silence, that point of reflection, that pause between life and death and life. So that is what we're working with here with the numbers. It's that Om. So yeah, so with the numbers, let me just erase this real quick. And now I'm going to try and draw things backwards. Let's see how that goes. Probably not very well. And this week I remembered my eraser. Haha! So with the numbers, there are even numbers and odd numbers, and they have very different energies. So odd numbers are kind of unstable, and even numbers are stable. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, so I drew it like this so you can kind of see that it's kind of like a zigzag. I can even draw that zigzag. I didn't draw it backwards. Wow. There we go. There's that zigzag pattern. Because life isn't just one long line. It has its ups and downs. And, yeah, so this is kind of like how you can visualize the numbers and their energies. I have ones up here. They're kind of intense. You could say they're more negative feeling, but I don't want to say negative. I don't want to just leave you off with these are negative, these are positive, because while it is an uncomfortable feeling, that uncomfortableness is truck to pass. That uncomfortable feeling is important because it pushes you to the next step. It's like a little fire under your butt. You know, you don't want your butt on fire, but it's kind of helping you to get shit done. So yeah, that's kind of how it feels like. So these are kind of in their own group. These are sort of in their own group. Now, from here on out, I'm not going to be using the whiteboard because I don't feel like we need it. So you understand what the numbers look like. So let's just start at the beginning with 1. And, so I have the aces. Here we are. So that's the wands, swords, pentacles, and cups. And these cards represent the beginning. And if you looked at them, ooh, dogs are fighting, barking. So we have this cloud. And this is kind of like the ether, out of nowhere, that nothingness. And if you look at Om and that little dot at the top, it's kind of that, that pause. So out of nowhere, there's a beginning. Life appears. And all these cards have that little cloud where, whoop, a hand comes out, and it's handing you the symbol. But they're all ruled by 1, because they're all a beginning. And so 1, you can specifically, like the key words for the number 1 for ace are the initial spark. So that moment of an idea beginning. And then new life. So that could be a birth. Or your will. So your willpower to make something into reality. So that's the number 1. The number 2. Let's get some 2 cards out of here. So 2. Yeah. Okay. So we have 2 people, 2 pentacles, 2 swords, 2 wands. And of course, the people are the cups. So 2 is, it rules duality, and partnerships. So that could be a relationship. So it could be, you know, you're it could be boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, boyfriend, girlfriend, girlfriend. It could be two people starting a business. It can be a brother and a sister. It could be not a person, but an idea, two ideas that work together. Like love and hate, or love and love, hate and hate. But it's duality, and so if you look at them, specifically, I'm going to use the cups. Someone's car needs to get fixed. Yeah, so we have these two people. It's like a relationship. They're meeting. There is a blossom of some sort. This looks like it kind of looks like the cherubic Leo sign. That's my guess. Not my guess. I'm pretty sure that is. But yeah, we have these two people, and they are meeting, coming together, two becoming one. And then we have three. So three is a fun one. So three of pentacles, three of cups, three of swords, three of wands. And now, of course, before I go any further, I want to mention that, yes, these cards have very specific meanings as well as their assigned numbers, but this is just a very easy way to get a meaning right away without having to do lots of work or research into each specific meaning. So, I want my coffee. Delicious. So these numbers are going to help you get a deeper understanding faster. Just kind of like that groundwork. So anyway, groundwork. Threes. Three is those two people coming together to create something. The reason three is creation is because two people coming together will create a family. Traditionally would be man, woman, makes a baby. So that's a good way to remember. Three is creation, creativity. Yeah. Oh, I do want to make sure you have those keywords for two. So it's duality, partnership, balance, choice. So yeah, that's also a choice. Because, you know, which one should I go for? There's two options. So, but with three, it's creation. So, right here, I really like cups. I feel like they're very helpful for the numerology. They really get the not just the idea across, but it's usually in the images too, at least a little bit. So, three of cups is a card of friendship, celebrating friendship. But it's also, you know, two people coming together and creating that third. But not only is it creation, but it is also a like a three-sided relationship. So not just necessarily monogamy. It could be three partners together. It could represent more, but it's also fruits of a joint venture. So, like I said, for two, it doesn't have to be a relationship. It can be a partnership. There goes the CTA. So, not just a partnership, a relationship, but a partnership. So, like two people starting a business together. This could be the fruition. But specifically, probably not with the cups. That would probably be more with like wands or pentacles. But yeah. So those are our threes. Keep all the cards together. Boop, 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 doop. Right? Oh. No, I put the 3 and the 2 together. Oh, whatever. I'll do that later. Okay. So now on to 4. So the number 4 is our awesome, stable base. So we have 4 of cups, 4 of swords, 4 of wands, 4 of pentacles. So if you think of the number 4, a great way to remember that it's a stable base is I always use the image of a table. So a table with 4 legs, very stable. It's a great base to put your food on, to make some art on top of, to, you know, just create. So 4 is that stability. 4 is, you know, knowing that you can continue with what you're doing because your foundation is strong. Oh, I keep getting really excited about the next card. So 3, your keywords are going to be creativity, fertility, fruits of a joint venture / relationship. So 4, it's stability, structure, foundation. So once again, let's look at these cards, give you an example. Let's do the wands. So the wands, we have 4 wands, and then there's 2 people in the background. Some people could say they're celebrating like at a party. Some people would say it's a marriage. Let's say it's a marriage. This is because it's a wand. It's a card of passion. Yeah, you know, you can't really start a marriage without a stable base. And you know, they look very happy on here. You know, they're cheering. Wow. You know, you can't be that excited about a relationship unless you know you're good for each other, unless you know this is going to be an awesome relationship. You're going to have so much fun. I keep kicking the table. I'm very sorry. Don't mean to make it shaky. But yeah, so it's a stable base. Your keywords for 4 are stability, structure, foundation. Now 5. 5 is where it starts to get rough. Like I said, so even numbers are more stable. You know, you have 2 people. That's much more stable than 1, more likely to fall over. 3 is kind of unstable. I guess it's actually, you know, triangles are pretty stable, so 3 is not too horrible. 3 is actually pretty good. 4, very stable, awesome. Now 5. 5 is conflict. Because if you have your stable table, your 4, and you add an extra leg, just like on the side of the table, it's like weird, wonky, unstable. So let's look at these 5 cards. 5 of Wands, 5 of Cups, 5 of Swords, 5 of Pentacles. And all these cards depict not great scenarios because there's some kind of conflict in these cards. Obviously depending on the suit, so whether it's Pentacle, Cups, Swords, or Wands, that's what kind of conflict it is. But yeah, so we have all kinds of conflict. I guess, like, you know, with Pentacles, the conflict is loss of money. You don't have enough money. It's poverty. You know, we see these people who are out in the snow with no shoes on. Conflict here is perhaps an unfair fight. The loss of friends, perhaps. You know, maybe some pride. And there's all kinds of different types of conflict here. Here, the conflict is loss. And this actually is an interest. I like this card actually, even though it is a conflict. You're feeling that loss. Oh my gosh, you spilled your 3 cups. But remember, you still have 2. And then here are a bunch of rich schoolboys fighting, playing war. And that's kind of like the battle of an ego, you know. I'm better, stronger, whatever. You know, my project's better than yours. My passions are awesomer than you. You know, that kind of stuff. So your keywords for 5 are instability, conflict, crisis, tension. There you go. Now 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 6. Let's look at these cards. We have 6 of Pentacles, 6 of Swords, 6 of Wands, and 6 of cups. Now, I like 6 because, let's go back to our table. This is a very easy memorization technique. So, you have a table, 4 legs, alright? Those are our 4 legs right there. You add a 5th, it's kind of weird. Then you add that 6, and it kind of balances it back out again. In fact, it might even be better than 4. Because not only are you stable enough for yourself, you made your table bigger. You're allowing more people into your table for generosity. Now you don't have just room for just your meal. You have room for a meal for the whole family, for your friends, because it's bigger. It's a better, more stable base. Now let's look at these cards. So I love 6 of Cups. This little boy is just being so generous, this little girl, and he's got all his flowers in his cups, and he's giving them away because, you know, he understands that he is blessed with too many flowers, so why not share? And with, you know, Pentacles is similar. You know, this rich man is feeding the poor. He understands that he is lucky enough to have food and money, and he's sharing the wealth. So yes, 6 is harmony, communication, and compassion. Whew. Now 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. There we go. I was about to count to 7. So 7s. Let's take a look at them. 7 of Cups. I like this one. So, Wands. Swords. Pentacles. Now 7 is another one of those unstable numbers, but this one is a little bit more comfortable than, it's more comfortable than 5, because it's further away. It is further away from that middle point. Like, remember when I said the hill? That conflict is like really high at 5, and it starts to go down. So 6, it's you're resolving it. 7, it's further away. So yes, it's an unstable number, but it's doable. And because it's unstable, it's a good reflection point. So 7 is time to reflect. So specifically, let's look at these 2 cards. It's very obvious that it's a reflection. So we have the Pentacles. This man, he has his, he's growing his crops. And some of them are dying, some of them are wilting, some are green, some are happy. So he has to decide which of his crops to prune to make sure that the others thrive. So yes, there is some instability happening, there's some wilting, but it's actually kind of a good thing, because then you can realize this isn't working, but this is. So this is a very good card to illustrate that reflection, that reevaluation. And then here we have our cups full of so many different options. What brings you happiness? Because of course cups is your feelings, your emotions. So right here, this person has lots of different options emotionally, and they have to decide which one's important to them. So 7 is reflection, you know, deciding what's for you, what works for you, what is what's going to work for you in the long run. How are you going to get to that end point? You want to get to 9 and hopefully 10 and start all over again. You know, right here is kind of like that, like, oh God, I'm just so over this project point. So, beginning, it's like very exciting, and oh my gosh, I'm on an adventure, this is going to be so exciting. Oh my gosh, this conflict, this kind of sucks. Okay, we're solving this conflict. Right over here, it's frustrating, this area. And then you go down to 8 and 9. 8 is still frustrating. I'll get there, but it's worth it for 9. So 7 is how you get there. 7, you have to reflect. Make sure you're on the right path. Okay, and now 8. Oh yeah, once again, 7's keywords are reflection, reevaluation, standing at a threshold. So, deciding where are we going here? What's the plan? We got to get those final steps ironed out. So 8. Eight. 8 is awesome. It's that final step. It's that final piece of hard work. So this is 8 of Swords, 8 of Pentacles, 8 of Cups, 8 of Wands. This was interesting. This is the only pip card in Rider-Waite that doesn't really have much going on. It's just, it's just a bunch of wands. So, fun little noticing tidbit there. Yeah, so 8 is your action. It's fighting for that final completion. It's you're running a race, and you've been, you started off strong, and then in the middle you're kind of like, slowly but surely putting in effort, working hard, and then, it's getting really tired. That's around 5 and 7, 5, 6, 7. It's like, oh my gosh, this is getting really tough. And then 8, you can see the finish line, and there's people around you, and you want to be first. So you gotta go give it your all. You gotta just bust ass and make 9 possible. So 8 is hard work. 8 is putting in that effort. I think this card really shows that off very easily. He's sitting down and making his product, which are these pentacle discs, plates, and he is just going at it. He is chiseling away, making his profit, because that's what he has to do to reach his final goal. So yeah, 8 is power. Here are your keywords: power, action, determination. Okay. And we have 9. So 9, here we go. We have 9 of Cups. Number 9 is fruition. So look at this guy. Look how happy he is. I love the 9 of Cups. He's just so content hanging out with his cups that he's earned. 9 of Swords. This one's a little bit sadder looking, but it can still be a good card because this is the suit of swords. So that is the mental realm. So, sometimes when you finally come to the end of a reality, you discover something, you've put in lots of effort to grow your mind. Sometimes it can be frustrating. It can keep you up at night, but it is the end of realization. And then we have the 9 of Wands. He's guarding his wands. That if you see his bandage on his head, he worked hard for those. So, it looks like somebody hit him over the head for those, and he was like, no. And the 9 of Pentacles. You can't get more luxurious than this lady. Look at her with her bird. Yeah. She's living in it. She's fulfilled what she wants, Perhaps if we go back to 8, maybe this is her husband. He's working hard to make that money, because this is Pentacles is your money. It's other stuff too. Watch last week's video. But, for now we could say it's just money. And he worked really hard, and now look at her. She gets to be lavish. His wife gets to just hang around in her beautiful golden robes, and good time. Worked hard, you earned it. Now finally, oh wait, the keywords, 9. Final single digit, because next is 10, so that's 2, 1 and 0. 1 and 0. Fruition and attainment. So that's 9. Now 10. 10 of Swords. It is a little violent of a card. 10 of Cups. Fruition. 10 of Wands. And 10 of Pentacles. So these cards are super good because it is, I guess I shouldn't say it's super good. They are complex, to say the least. Because if we look at this card, So the 10 of Cups. This card is, you see the visual of a very happy family. They have achieved that 9. They've completed it, and now they get to bask in the glory of it and rest for a little bit. So like an ohm, that little dot on top, or that confusing little piece where the tail and the mouth of the Ouroboros is eating the tail. That's that pause, that reflection, that it's complete. Now what? So this one is more like the rest, very relaxing, just hang out with your family, having a great time. As is the Pentacles, you made your money, now you get to feed your family, feed your grandpa, feed your dogs, feed your kids. Now, Swords is definitely a complicated suit because it is of the mind, and when you complete something in your mind, sometimes it feels like dead end. This is also a card of backstabbing, but we're going to look at just the numbers for now. And it is the completion of a thought, the end of a thought, and realizing there's a new thought process coming, because we have to accept that there's this death. It's ended. It's over. Now what? Now what? And this one, I think, the Wands is the one that shows kind of, hello! Wands is the one that shows kind of the best, I think, what 10 really means. Because if you remember, where'd he go? The Nine of Wands, this guy is, he kind of looks like he's selling his wands. You could say that he's selling his wands. He's protecting them. He's earned them. He's created them. Now what? Now here, it kind of looks like a similar man. It's not the same man, but you could say. He is collecting those wands that he had put up for sale, and he's putting them away. And gonna start a new project. Because that's what Wands rule, is your creativity, your projects, your personal projects, your soul. So, that 10 is rest, relaxation. There's a woodpecker about 5 feet away from me. Very cool. He sometimes comes on the deck. I don't know. You can see in the reflection, we have some stuff hanging, and there's a bird feeder right over there. He sometimes comes over here. Hello, woodpecker. So yeah, 10, the keywords are readiness to begin a new cycle, the fullness of completion. Yeah, so right here, you can definitely see everyone's being fed, everyone's happy, everyone is just, lush, luxury. And one problem is, especially, I feel like this is a very good example. 1 too many. Now obviously this is 10 too many swords in your back, but 10 is kind of, if you won't let go of 9, you're just holding on to that completion, that best part of your life. You can maybe even imagine like Napoleon Dynamite, Uncle Rico, right? He's like, he won't let go of his football career, and how he could have been the best. But imagine if he had been the best. He probably wouldn't have let that go either. And that's kind of that point where, like, when is too much? You finish there, start something new. Don't let one cycle define you. Don't let one part of your life define you. There's lots of different aspects to living, to life. Go start something new. So those are the numbers. Those are their meanings and how they can help you out in the tarot. Obviously, you're going to want to, go a little further, but honestly, with the 1 through 10, you kind of get a lot of information out of the cards and what they're trying to tell you. So for now, if you're just starting, you're overwhelmed, there's too many cards to learn, focus on this. Those numbers also help you out with the major arcana. The major arcana are obviously even more dense, so a little more research into those, but this is going to be a great head start. Definitely a head start from somebody who wouldn't learn about numerology for a while. So remember those keywords. They're going to help you out. I hope you really enjoyed this class. This is really fun for me to share with you. Lots of stuff's happening on this porch right now. There are these wasps fighting to the death. It's kind of scary. Okay, cool. One flew away. Still a wasp, though. Yeah, so remember Om. A-U-M. Silence. That is the cycle that these numbers go through. And yeah, I hope you had a great class. I did. I had a great time hanging out on the porch with you guys. If you want... Oh! Can you apply numerology to major arcana cards? Yeah, so I can actually go into that in a different week. Perhaps, maybe next week I could go into that a little more, but we'll see what I choose to do next week. Whatever I get excited for. But yes, you can. Each card has its own number. I can give you an example here. I just saw it. Emperor, he's a 4. And the Emperor is strong, stable, powerful leader, for example. Yeah, so if you enjoyed that video, you know, you can like and comment and share with your friends. I really appreciate that support. Yeah, thank you so much for showing up, for showing me some love, and for taking care of yourself through me, making the world a better place through me. I appreciate it. You can choose any kinds of teachers. Hi, Angela. Hello. Last minute showing up, but that's okay. You can rewatch it. It'll be on my page. Yeah, so once again, if you want to support me, like, comment, share. Also, I have a Patreon. I have a Coffee account, so you guys can donate. Let me just comment that. I keep forgetting to do that. There we go. Paste. Okay. So yeah, you can donate below or not and just share my stuff. Whatever floats your boat. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great day. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, please message me. Leave a comment. Let me know. Alright. Well, if there are no comments, questions, well, I guess there was already one. The numerology to major arcana. I think I should go. Yeah. Alright. Have a great day, guys.